Hey up everybody, Betty's back. Right, today continuing on with the Portugal theme, obviously we've just been. So this is a nice tasty soup called Caldo Verde, which is a kale and potato soup. It's called a green soup basically. So I'll show you the ingredients and we'll get cracking. Right, so we have some salt and pepper. We have a bag of kale there. You can use collard greens, but it's got to be thinned, trimmed, sliced pretty thinly. You want about 59 mils of extra virgin olive oil, about 283 grams of chorizo. I'm probably not going to use all of that because you only put 2 or 3 slices on top of your bowl of soup anyway. So you want 1 onion. Larger the better, but that's the only one I've got. So it says 6 medium-sized potatoes. Those are 4 pretty large ones there, so I'm going to do that. You want about 1.5 litres of stock, and I'm using 4 garlic cloves, which I'm going to slice. It says between 2 and 4, so I like it on the garlicky side. And that is it. So let's get cracking. Right, so I've got my big pan on. The 59 mils of extra virgin olive oil is in there, just warming up nicely. So the first thing we're going to put in is our chorizo links. I've only used actually half of that because you don't need, because it's only for me and Mand. So, and it says to put like 2 or 3 bits per bowl. So I'm going to fry this off for like 3 to 5 minutes just to let it render out some of its fat, same as I did in the previous video. So I'll come back when we're at that stage. Right, so that's at about 5 minutes. It's imparted some of its lovely fat into the oil, which is what we want. I'm just going to pick these up with a slight spoon into a bowl with kitchen towel on it. And we're just going to set that aside. We get it all out. There we go, that is it. He says as he drops a piece back in. Right, so this is going to impart flavour into these onions. So we're going to go in with our onion. I'll just turn that down a little slight bit. And we just need some salt on here. A little sprinkle of salt. And we're going to cook these for about 5 to 7 minutes until they're softened and translucent. I'll just turn it down a little bit. So I'll come back when they're done. Right, so those onions have softened down nicely, and I'm just going to add the 4 cloves of garlic which I've just sliced up. If you don't particularly want it that strong, just add a couple, and we're going to cook that now with the garlic in there for another 2 minutes. Right, so that's had a couple of minutes now, and the smell, I love the smell of onions and garlic, just lovely. Right, so next in is our 6 potatoes, or 4 big potatoes like I've used, just chopped pieces, yeah, big. They're getting dumped into the pot, along with our about 1.5 litres, depending on how much soup you want to make, 1.5 to 2 litres of chicken stock. I'm just using 2 stock cubes in there. Give it a stir, turn the heat up because we're going to bring this up to the boil, so that's going to take a little while I think, so I'll come back when it's coming up to the boil. Right, so that is now finally coming up to the boil. That took a while because I'd already made the stock previously. It was done with boiling water, but it wasn't boiling by the time I put it in here. So that's coming up to the boil now, so I'm going to turn it down, lid on. I'm going to cook that for about 15-20 minutes, or until the potatoes are soft, anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. So I'm going to say 15 minutes and check them and see what they're like from there. So that has been 15 minutes. They're perfectly cooked. So for now, I'm turning that off and we're going to let it cool because that is going to get blitzed. So I'll come back shortly when it's cooled down a bit. Right, so that's cooled down a little bit. So I'm going to start to blend this now. Right, I'll come back in a second when it's done this because it's going to take a little while, I think. So I'll come back in a second when it's done. Apologies for that, that stick blender's a little bit noisy, but as you can see, that now it's nicely blended and it's nice and thick. So what we're going to do now is we're just bringing this up to the boil, which it's coming up to now. I'm going to add some more seasoning to this. Some salt and some pepper. There we go. Give that a stir in. And the last thing to go in will be the kale. Coloured greens if you're using them. Greens, it just traditionally is coloured greens, but obviously if just use kale, cabbage, whatever you want to use really, but obviously the traditional way is going to be this way. So that's coming up to the boil now. So what I'm going to do is just turn that down to a simmer and we're going to add our kale, which man chopped it up for me because I did not have the patience to do that. So that is going in. And we're going to cook that for about another 5 minutes, somewhere around there. Just going to make sure that's all incorporated into there. Also, this is where it's going to get its little bit of colour from. I can already see it starting to change its tinge. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, so that is the soup now done. I'm going to dish this up and we'll have a taste test. Right, so that is it, the finished dish with the chorizo on the top. Caldo Verde Portuguese green soup. Right, it's triple tea time. Right, here we go. So this is a very hearty soup, very traditional, and it has turned this a little bit green with that kale. So I'm just going to try a bit, and it's quite a thick soup as well, with potato in it. Oh, it's nice. That is nice. You get a little bit of the chorizo in there anyway from when you fried it in the onions. That's been blended, but that's nicely seasoned. Just the right amount of salt and pepper. It's a thick soup. With it being a potato soup, it's good. That's going to be a nice hearty soup for winter. Really nice. I'll try a bit with the chorizo. That is lovely. That is really nice. Reading up on the recipe, it did say traditionally you're only supposed to have one slice of chorizo on the top, but it said to heck with that. Just put as many on as you want. So that's what I've done. But that's a proper winter warmer, that one. Good for you. Healthy. Delicious. If you like the look of that, please give it a thumbs up. And I'd like to thank you all for all your lovely recipe ideas, all your lovely comments. Keep them all coming. They're much appreciated. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so because it would really help us. So I'm going to leave that one there. Settle down for the night, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. So I'll see you soon. Bye.